some breaking news reaching us from FIFA again, not involving Gianni Infantino, maybe not. Let's find out what it is. It's actually the events at the World Cup. Cover, you're back with us. What can you tell us?
FIFA have opened disciplinary proceedings against the Argentina Football Association over the behaviour of their players and also their fans at 2 games at the World Cup.
For the entire World Cup, many critics believed FIFA kept looking the other way whenever Argentina was involved. A soft whistle here, a missing red card there, and even a private letter praising the team's professionalism, while fans around the world kept raising questions. Every time Argentina landed in another controversy, people felt the pressure faded away, and the story seemed to disappear without much explanation. But now, that pattern has changed. FIFA has finally taken a step it seemed determined to avoid throughout the tournament. The organization has put serious accusations into an official document using language that's impossible to ignore or quietly walk back. The case doesn't describe it as simple unsporting behavior or just an unfortunate incident. Instead, it includes assault charges against players from the same team many critics have claimed received special treatment all summer. Once accusations become part of formal disciplinary proceedings, they become part of the official record. That's why this moment has grabbed so much attention. Let's break down exactly what has been filed, why it reaches beyond the players, and brings the Argentine Football Association into the spotlight, how it connects to a long-running dispute, and why many people believe FIFA can no longer avoid addressing these claims. The headline alone is enough to catch everyone's attention because it's rare to see wording this direct in an official FIFA announcement. After a week-long investigation by an independent prosecutor into the incidents following the final, FIFA's disciplinary committee opened formal proceedings with several serious allegations. Leandro Paredes is facing 3 assault charges. Nahuel Molina is facing 2 assault charges. 1 alleged completed act and 1 alleged attempted act, along with a charge of unsporting behavior. Assistant coach Roberto Ayala is also facing 1 assault charge. Thiago Almada has been charged with unsporting behavior. In a surprise that caught many people off guard, Spain's Gavi has also been charged with unsporting behavior. Even so, the biggest focus remains on the assault charges involving Leandro Paredes, Nahuel Molina, and Ayala, because those are the most serious allegations in the case. Under FIFA's disciplinary code, an assault charge can lead to a suspension of at least 3 matches if it's upheld, with the possibility of a much longer ban depending on the outcome. If those penalties are ultimately imposed, Argentina could be without several important figures for a significant period. The accusations are tied to moments that spread across social media and sports news around the world. According to the disciplinary case, Paredes is accused of striking Spain's Eric Garcia in the throat with an open hand, causing him to fall to the ground. The case also alleges that Paredes and Almada pushed Gavi during the confrontation. Video that circulated after the match has also been cited by many viewers as appearing to show Molina striking Spain, Captain Rodri in the midsection, while Rodri ran past celebrating. Ayala, meanwhile, was filmed in an incident involving Dani Olmo that prosecutors have included in the disciplinary case, although Ayala later described it as nothing more than a push. That's 3 players and 1 coach now facing formal disciplinary proceedings. These aren't just online rumors or emotional reactions from fans. They are official charges listed by FIFA's disciplinary process. If multiple assault charges are ultimately upheld, the potential suspensions could become much more severe. Paredes alone is facing 3 separate assault charges, making his case one of the biggest stories in the entire investigation. If multiple assault charges are ultimately upheld, and the disciplinary committee also considers the circumstances surrounding the incidents after a World Cup final watched by millions around the world, the penalties could be much more serious than a short suspension. Instead of a simple slap on the wrist, Argentina could be without several key names for a large part of its next campaign. Molina is also facing major uncertainty with 2 assault charges alongside an unsporting behavior charge, making his case another one to watch closely. The charge against assistant coach Roberto Ayala also stands out because it's uncommon for a member of the coaching staff to face this kind of allegation. Coaches are generally expected to calm tense situations and help restore order rather than become involved in confrontations themselves. That's one reason this part of the case has drawn so much attention. Then there's another twist that surprised plenty of people. Spain midfielder Gavi, who was involved in the post-match confrontation and is listed in the disciplinary proceedings as facing an unsporting behavior charge, has also found himself included in the official case. That caught many fans off guard because weeks earlier, Gavi had publicly suggested he didn't believe Argentina's players should be suspended, saying moments like these can happen in emotional matches. Now his name appears on the same disciplinary document as several Argentine players involved in the investigation. Whether people agree with the prosecutor's decisions or not, the fact that the proceedings include individuals from both teams
had won the final, that they would have produced that banner again. Anyway, FIFA have now opened disciplinary proceedings against them over that because, of course, it's against FIFA's laws to make any political statements at football games.
Has led some observers to argue that the investigation examined a wider range of conduct instead of focusing on just one side. That has made the case even harder to dismiss as simple bias, because the disciplinary process appears to cover multiple incidents involving different people. Now, here's the detail that many believe changes the conversation completely. During the chaotic scenes, FIFA's match systems briefly showed what appeared to be a red card for Paredes before that listing was later removed and no sending off was enforced on the field. That moment quickly became a major talking point, with critics pointing to it as another example of inconsistent officiating. For many people, following the tournament, it came to symbolize a pattern they believed they had seen before. A controversial decision appears, and then just as quickly, it seems to disappear. Unlike a decision made during a match, a formal disciplinary case doesn't simply disappear. Once FIFA officially publishes disciplinary proceedings, they become part of the public record. They can't just be quietly erased or ignored. According to FIFA's own statement, the individuals involved have now been given the opportunity to respond to the allegations before the disciplinary committee reaches its final decision. In other words, the process is now officially underway and out in the open. From this point forward, the case will move through FIFA's disciplinary system, making it much harder for the situation to fade from public attention before a ruling is made. But the players aren't the only focus of the investigation. FIFA also opened a separate disciplinary case involving the Argentine Football Association, and that file covers a much broader list of alleged issues than the incidents after the final. According to FIFA's published proceedings, the federation is facing allegations that include using a sporting event for a non-sporting political demonstration, team misconduct, discrimination, and racist abuse, along with failures related to order and security. The disciplinary documents also reference alleged discriminatory chants and gestures, delayed kickoffs, failures to follow match and security protocols, inappropriate messages displayed by members of the team or supporters, and objects reportedly thrown by spectators during tournament matches. Looking at that list, many observers have argued it goes far beyond a single heated incident after one match. Instead, the disciplinary proceedings describe a series of alleged issues that FIFA is examining across multiple games during the tournament. Those are allegations that now appear in official documents, making this one of the broadest disciplinary cases connected to the competition. A federation-level disciplinary case also carries different consequences than charges against individual players. Instead of focusing on one person's actions, it examines the conduct of the organization itself. Depending on FIFA's final decisions, possible outcomes could include fines, disciplinary sanctions, or other official measures affecting the Argentine Football Association. Among all the allegations, the claims involving discrimination and racist abuse are likely to receive especially close attention because of their seriousness under FIFA's disciplinary rules. Allegations involving discrimination and racist abuse are among the most serious issues covered by FIFA's disciplinary rules, because FIFA has repeatedly stated that combating discrimination is a major priority. Many observers believe the organization will be expected to address these allegations through its disciplinary process. That means the Argentine Football Association isn't only responding to one issue, it's dealing with several separate allegations that could all affect its reputation. Before getting to the banner at the center of that federation case, there's another detail that connects back to the assault investigation. Assistant coach Roberto Ayala, who is facing an assault charge related to an incident involving Dani Olmo, later issued an apology, but it quickly became part of the controversy itself. Ayala said he was sorry for what happened, but also argued that the incident was closer to a shove than a punch, and suggested that something Olmo said had contributed to the confrontation. Olmo publicly rejected that explanation, saying he had not said anything that would justify the incident. He also questioned the sincerity of the apology, arguing that an apology loses credibility when it's paired with an explanation that appears to defend the alleged conduct. That exchange only brought more attention to the case. The apology became another point of public disagreement, and now Ayala's actions will ultimately be assessed through FIFA's formal disciplinary process, rather than through public debate alone. At the center of the federation case is another issue that sparked headlines around the world. After Argentina defeated England in the semifinal in Atlanta, several players, including Giovanni Lo Celso and Nicolas Otamendi, held up a banner that had been passed from the crowd before placing it on the field during the celebrations. The banner read, "Las Malvinas son Argentinas," which translates to "The Malvinas are Argentine." Malvinas is the name used in Argentina for the Falkland Islands, a British overseas territory that has been the subject of a long-standing sovereignty dispute between Argentina and the United Kingdom. That detail is important because it helps explain why the incident became part of FIFA's disciplinary review, rather than being viewed only as a political statement. FIFA's rules are clear when it comes to political demonstrations during official matches. Football's governing bodies prohibit using games to display political messages, whether through banners, slogans, flags, or other symbols.
They've also been looked at for racist abuse, also late kickoff, so turning up late for the game, and also a failure to comply with security protocols, throwing objects as well, displaying inappropriate messages by the team and fans. So,
because of that rule, the issue wasn't simply whether people agreed or disagreed with the message on the banner. The main question for FIFA was whether displaying it during a World Cup event violated its competition regulations. The sovereignty dispute itself is a separate and deeply sensitive international issue, so it's important to look at it with context rather than emotion. The Falkland Islands have been under British administration since the 1830s, while Argentina has continued to claim sovereignty over the islands. In 1982, the disagreement led to a 74-day war in which more than 900 people lost their lives, including 649 Argentine military personnel, 255 British military personnel, and 3 civilians. It's a painful chapter in the history of both countries. Because of that history, many people expected the banner to generate strong reactions the moment it appeared on the field. It quickly became much bigger than a football story. Officials from different governments publicly commented on the incident, showing just how politically sensitive the subject remains. A spokesperson for the UK Prime Minister reaffirmed the United Kingdom's position on the islands, while comments from the head of the White House's World Cup Task Force defended the players' ability to express their views, citing principles of free speech. The international reaction highlighted exactly why FIFA has long maintained rules restricting political messaging during matches. The organization aims to keep political disputes separate from football, regardless of the issue involved. This also wasn't the first time Argentina had faced scrutiny over the same message. In 2014, FIFA fined the Argentine Football Association £20,000 after players displayed a much larger version of the same Falklands banner before a friendly match against Slovenia, making the latest incident part of a much longer history. Argentina had already faced disciplinary action over the same type of banner years earlier, so FIFA's rules on political messaging were well established before this tournament. That's one reason many observers believe the heat of the moment explanation may face extra scrutiny during the disciplinary process. From that perspective, critics argue this wasn't viewed as an isolated incident, but as part of a broader pattern that FIFA will now examine. When you look at both disciplinary cases together, the overall picture becomes much bigger. On one side, 3 players and an assistant coach are facing formal proceedings connected to the post-final confrontation, with several assault charges among the allegations. On the other, the Argentine Football Association is responding to a separate disciplinary case involving allegations of political demonstrations, team misconduct, discrimination, and racist abuse, along with failures related to order and security across multiple matches. That's an unusually large number of official proceedings connected to one World Cup campaign. What makes the story even more striking is the timing. Argentina entered the tournament as the defending world champions and came within a single goal of winning back-to-back World Cups for the first time since Brazil achieved the feat in 1962. Instead of the tournament being remembered only for what happened on the field, the disciplinary investigations have become a major part of the conversation surrounding the team's campaign. That brings us to one of the biggest debates surrounding FIFA throughout the tournament. Many fans and commentators repeatedly questioned whether Argentina had received favorable treatment, pointing to refereeing decisions, disciplinary moments, and other controversial calls. Others strongly disagreed with those claims. The discussion grew even louder after reports emerged that FIFA President Gianni Infantino had sent Argentina a private letter praising the team's professionalism, while FIFA's independent disciplinary process was already examining post-final incidents. The timing of those reports sparked widespread debate and added another layer of controversy to an already intense story. Think about the sequence of events, because it's one of the biggest reasons this story has drawn so much attention. Around the same time, FIFA President Gianni Infantino reportedly sent Argentina a private letter praising the team's professionalism. FIFA's independent disciplinary process was moving forward with allegations against several members of the squad. For many critics, that timing created an uncomfortable contrast and quickly became a major talking point. If the disciplinary committee ultimately upholds the most serious charges, many observers believe that letter will be viewed very differently in hindsight. Critics argue it would raise difficult questions about the timing and public perception of FIFA's leadership, especially if players praised for their professionalism are later found to have committed disciplinary violations. Supporters of FIFA, however, may point out that the disciplinary process is handled independently and that official rulings had not yet been made when the letter was sent. The debate also brings back memories of previous disciplinary action involving Argentina. Following the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, FIFA issued sanctions related to the team's celebrations, with the outcome reportedly limited to a financial penalty and no suspensions for individual players. That earlier case has been cited by some commentators who argue FIFA has not always imposed the strongest available punishments, while others see the situations as separate and not directly comparable. This time, though, the circumstances are different because FIFA has publicly announced formal disciplinary proceedings. That means the allegations, the relevant disciplinary articles, and the process itself are all part of the official record. Many observers believe that public transparency increases pressure on FIFA to apply its rules consistently, whatever the final outcome may be. At the same time, it's important to remember one key point. A formal charge is not the same as a finding of guilt. The disciplinary committee still has to review the evidence, consider responses from those involved, and reach its decision before any penalties can be imposed. Until that process is complete, the allegations remain exactly that, allegations. FIFA's official statement makes one thing very clear. Every individual and organization facing disciplinary proceedings has the opportunity to present its side before any final decision is made. That includes Leandro Paredes, Nahuel Molina, Roberto Ayala, and the Argentine Football Association. After reviewing the evidence and those responses, the disciplinary committee could uphold some allegations, reduce others, or dismiss certain charges altogether. That's a key part of FIFA's disciplinary process, regardless of how people reacted to the incidents. It's also important to remember that Spain's Gavi was included in the disciplinary proceedings with an unsporting behavior charge. For many observers, that suggests the investigation wasn't limited to examining the conduct of one team alone. Instead, FIFA's prosecutor reviewed actions involving multiple individuals from both sides of the confrontation. The banner issue also carries a different kind of discussion. For many Argentines, the Malvinas remain closely connected to national identity and the memory of a painful conflict. Many people believe the players displayed the banner as an expression of deeply held views.
That is the England game. Going on to the scenes that we saw during the game against Spain and also after the game against Spain, where there were some disgraceful scenes and behaviour because basically the Argentinian players didn't react very well to losing that World Cup final. FIFA are looking into the behaviour of Leandro Paredes, Nahuel Molina, Thiago Almada, and also an Argentina coach, Roberto Ayala, and also they're looking into one Spain player, Gavi, for allegations of unsporting behavior.
Rather than simply trying to provoke controversy. Even so, FIFA's regulations prohibit political messaging during official matches, so the disciplinary question focuses on whether those competition rules were violated regardless of the motivation behind the display. It's equally important to recognize that the different allegations in this case are not all of the same nature or seriousness. Claims involving political messaging, unsporting behavior, and alleged assault are addressed under different sections of FIFA's disciplinary rules, and each will be assessed on its own facts and standards. What makes this case stand out is that the proceedings are now official and part of the public record. Unlike a controversial refereeing decision that eventually fades from memory, formal disciplinary cases remain documented, making this investigation very different from many of the debates that surrounded the tournament. A controversial refereeing decision can eventually fade from memory. A private letter can become another headline that people stop talking about. But once FIFA publishes formal disciplinary proceedings, those documents become part of the official record. They can't simply be brushed aside or quietly forgotten. With allegations carrying potential multi-match suspensions if upheld, the disciplinary committee's next steps will be watched closely by football fans around the world. Throughout the tournament, many fans argued that Argentina received favorable treatment from FIFA, while others rejected that idea completely. Now, those debates have been replaced by a formal disciplinary process involving several players, a member of the coaching staff, and the Argentine Football Association itself. The allegations range from assault and unsporting behavior to political demonstrations, security issues, and claims involving discrimination and racist abuse. Every allegation will now be examined through FIFA's official procedures rather than through social media debates or public opinion alone. The outcome of these cases won't only affect the individuals involved, it will also shape how many people view FIFA's commitment to enforcing its own disciplinary rules consistently. If the committee imposes significant sanctions where it believes the evidence supports them, some will see that as proof FIFA is willing to act regardless of the team involved. If the penalties are viewed as too lenient, critics are likely to question whether the governing body applied its rules evenly. Whatever the final decisions are, they will almost certainly be analyzed and debated for a long time. One thing is certain, the spotlight is now on FIFA just as much as it is on Argentina. The defending champions arrived hoping to make history on the pitch. But much of the conversation has shifted toward what happens off it. At the same time, FIFA now faces intense scrutiny over how it handles one of the biggest disciplinary cases connected to the tournament. The rulings haven't been made yet, and every person facing charges still has the right to respond before any final decision is reached. But once those decisions are announced, they'll become part of football history, and we'll finally see how this remarkable story ends. So now I want to hear from you. Do you think FIFA will impose strong sanctions if the allegations are upheld? Or do you believe the final penalties will be lighter than many people expect? Share your thoughts in the comments below, because this is a debate every football fan seems to have an opinion on. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with other football fans so they can join the discussion. And as soon as FIFA releases its official decisions, we'll cover every major ruling and what it means for everyone involved. Until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.